Legacy. Legacy, Kyle Elbert. The definition of a legacy is anything that's handed down from the past. My father, who I consider a very strong and great man, handed down a great legacy to me. For some reason, when I was young, I thought there was someday I was going to sit down with my father, we would sit at a table, he was going to open up a box like it was the Ark of the Covenant. Just go, there's your legacy, son. Take it, it's yours. And I've come to find out it doesn't quite work like that. As I said, my dad was a great man. 5 kids, got 15 grandchildren. I tell him he's 5 for 5. All of us kids are successful, happy, married, all have kids. The American dream, we all have it. My dad taught me a lot of lessons. Didn't realize they were lessons when he was teaching me those, but they ended up coming out. One day, 11 or 12 years old, go to my dad and say, Dad, I want to build something in the wood shop. He says, go ahead, son, have at it. So I head downstairs. I find that brand new power saw. My dad just got it. I thought this is going to be cool. Plug it in and give it a squeeze of the trigger just to see what it sounds like, feel for it. Suddenly I hear this boom, boom, boom across the floor. What's going on? Here comes my dad. He goes, what are you doing? So I'm using a power saw. He goes, no, you're not. I go, what? You can't use that. You got to build it by hand. And then a couple other things I want you to do. You got to clean up when you're done. And whatever you're making, I want you to make 2. Dad, that's torture. By hand? 2? What are you talking about? Well, you know what? I did it. I made a birdhouse. Got everything by hand, nailed it by hand, made another birdhouse, cleaned up. I got down the road and I thought, why did my dad make me do this? Why did he torture me so? Well, the 3 things that my dad gave me that day, and in other lessons down the road, were, don't be afraid of hard work, do it by hand. Be responsible, clean up. Be giving of yourself. Make 2. He took one of the birdhouses and made and gave it to the neighbor. Well, I realized, you got to remember, legacies are not handed to you, they're learned over time. When my son was born, a friend of mine asked me, are you proud of him? I thought, proud to be a father, but if you really want to know if I'm proud of my son, ask me when he turns 18. My son is about to turn 16. I am running out of time very quickly before that question gets asked of me. Most people don't plan their legacy. They don't think about it. I challenge myself to be a little bit different. I want my son to know. I want my son to learn from the things I've done, and I want him to know the stamp that I leave on the world. And for the most part, that stamp is going to be him and what he takes. So my son, I torture him now. I got 4 things I want him to get out of life. I want him to be responsible. How do I torture him with that? Homework, homework, homework. The day of the smartphone or the computer, I know exactly when everything is due at school. I know what he's working on. I know what he's being tested on. I ask him questions. He thinks his old man's dumb. I said, oh yeah, what about this? Just to see if he's learning. I nag him about his homework. My wife and me are on the bottom of his list right now because we are on him about his homework. Responsibility, that's what I want out of him. I want him engaged with the people that are around him. My father was a very reserved man, did not engage with a lot of people. I want my son to realize that that's the key to life, is the people around you. How do we do that to him? We torture him again. My son is in a lot of things in high school. He is a freshman in high school, and boy, it's bad when your parents show up. All I get is this. When he sees us across the room, we are at a lot of his events, we support a lot of his events, and we volunteer at a lot of his events. What I'm trying to teach him is we are engaged with him, we are engaged with his friends, and we are engaged with his friends' families. Hopefully he is picking that up. One thing I carry forward from my dad, I want him to be giving of himself. My wife and I do a lot of volunteering for Kids Against Hunger, and we drag him along to everything. Meal packing. Tomorrow I got to take him to unload 50-pound bags of rice off a truck, and he's going to hate me. But you know what? He's going to be giving of himself. Final thing I want him to get out of life is to praise God for what you're given, and if you don't have it, turn to him and you may get it. As I said, I'm hoping he's learning this stuff. The torture may be worth it, because I hope in 30 years he stands up here and he thinks, you know what? My dad is not going to give me a box that I'm going to open up and find my legacy. He's been giving it to me for the last 30